Hi, I'm Marcus Hutzel, and in this video we're going to talk about a bit of productivity magic. Are you one of those people that clicks on File, Save, every time you need to save a file on your computer, or right-clicks and then selects Copy? Let's see here, right-click and Copy, then right-clicks and selects Paste. Let's see here, right-click and Paste. Oh, missed it. Right click, paste. Missed it again. Right click, paste. Well, if you want to work more quickly and more efficiently on your laptop, whether it's Windows or Mac, you've got to learn this simple trick. And honestly, it's not really even a trick because the software programmers that developed all of these operating systems and other software installed these features for us. We just have to use them. And I'm talking about keyboard shortcuts and how absolutely necessary they are to my daily efficiency here at my modern computing station. Using keyboard shortcuts are an absolute must for me in every single program that I use. And I'll go into some of my favorite ones here in a bit, but if you aren't using keyboard shortcuts, you're costing yourself a lot of time and wasted energy and stressing out your coworkers who may be waiting on you to complete a task. And they may also make you feel like some sort of hacker, like you're hacking into the Matrix or something. Look, I know this sounds simple and you're probably asking, Marcus, why are you making a video telling me to use keyboard shortcuts? Because I feel the need to get the message out there because I've spent too many hours watching people fumble through basic operations on their laptops like switching programs, saving a file, copying and pasting, and in this modern world, time is money, apparently. So let's be efficient, get our work done quickly so we can get out of the office and go play. Keyboard shortcuts are built in or customizable in almost any software program. They're right in front of us. And I either learn the default keyboard shortcuts or I make my own because I just can't work any other way. And sometimes moving the mouse to find a tiny slider bar takes longer than just pressing a couple of keys. Keyboard shortcuts help me stay organized and help me get the task done more quickly. If a program doesn't have the ability to customize a particular keyboard shortcut that I need to use, I will, and have, completely ditch that program for one that will allow more keyboard customization. Because if I can't customize a particular keyboard shortcut in a particular program, then that program for me is less efficient and it takes longer and is more frustrating to accomplish a task. Quick example. Google Chrome is the only web browser that I've found that I can customize Next tab and Previous tab because those items appear in the drop-down menus, as you can see here. And through Mac OS's built-in keyboard shortcut setup in System Preferences, I have set those two menu commands to use the Command plus number 1 for Previous tab and Command 2 for Next tab. This allows me to use Command 1 and Command 2 to navigate through all of my tabs. I just keep pressing Command 2 and it goes to the next tab, the next tab, the next tab, and so on, and then back to the first tab when it reaches the end. Whereas Safari and Firefox don't have a Previous tab and Next tab option in their menus, and they don't have a default keyboard shortcut for just going to the next tab, so I can't customize the keyboard the same way. Safari and Firefox will let you press Command 1, 2, Command 3, Command 4, all the way up through 9 to get to that numbered tab in your window. But that doesn't help me because what if I have 20 tabs open? How do I get to the 20th tab? I can't, not without taking the time to move my mouse over to that tab and click on it. And I know what you're thinking. How long can it take to move the mouse? That's what it's there for. But you'd be surprised at how much faster keyboard shortcuts can be, and you'd be surprised how long it actually can take to move the mouse from its current location to the tab. And if I needed to get to the 9th tab in Safari or Firefox, I could just press Command 9, but that would mean I'd have to move my right hand off the mouse and either click the 9 on the top row or the 9 on the number pad. Why do I need to do that when I can just use one hand and quickly go from tab to tab to tab to tab to tab? It can also take longer, for example, if you have dual monitors or maybe 3 monitors in your setup, moving the mouse from one monitor way over to your right, way over to the monitor on your left can just take time when you can just use your keyboard shortcuts to navigate between the tabs or all of your open windows. Now, why I have 20 browser windows open is an entirely different topic, so let's not go there. But that's one reason that I like Google Chrome over the other browsers, not to mention a lot of other reasons. Another quick example is Apple Garageband. When I'm using an audio editor like Garageband, my right hand is almost always on the mouse. I have very little need to be in a typing position while editing audio or video, so my hands are here. And the default keyboard shortcut for zooming in and out on the timeline in Garageband are hold down Command and then press the left arrow or the right arrow respectively for zooming out and in. That's inefficient for me because it requires two hands, and it requires me to move my right hand off the mouse and over to the keyboard, or it requires me to move my left hand completely over here like this and do it this way. And there are no menu items for zoom in and zoom out in Garageband, so I can't use Mac OS to customize the keyboard either. And Garageband doesn't let you customize the keyboard directly within the program. So it just slows me down because in almost every other audio editing program I have, the R and T keys I have set to zoom out and in respectively because they're quickly accessible without moving my left hand. But in something like Garageband, you can't remap those keys, so it's slower and less efficient for me. So I just use Adobe Audition, which is a much better audio editing program anyway, or any other real audio editor other than Garageband. And you might be asking, why am I even using Apple GarageBand? Well, it's free if you have a Mac, and sometimes I just need to do a quick audio edit or pull up a piano or guitar sound, and Apple GarageBand is relatively quick and simple and has built-in software instruments, which I do use from time to time. And if I find myself on a different Mac, we use many Mac computers at my job, I know that I can use GarageBand to quickly edit an audio file if needed. But I find GarageBand too simple because you can't remap the zoom in and out keys as well as a lot of other functions. And I need to work fast, especially in the world of live event production, which is my full-time job. So a couple of examples, but being able to set up the programs I use often with custom keyboard shortcuts or simply learning the default keyboard shortcuts is a must-do productivity workflow for me. I can move around in so many programs so much more quickly because I use keyboard shortcuts. I'm a little OCD in this regard, and I've put a lot of thought and time into remapping keys so I can just get the tasks done more quickly. And again, in my work of live event and live streaming production, where sometimes we need to retrieve, edit, and upload content quickly, it can actually cost valuable time if you can't get the task done more quickly. It can get frustrating when I'm standing next to someone who's maybe trying to find a file on the computer and they're individually minimizing each window to get to the desktop, and they end up with 20 minimized windows when they could have just used Command Tab or Alt Tab to get to the proper program, or maybe something like Windows D on a PC to show the desktop immediately. Or when they click through a menu to get to a command which has a very widely known keyboard shortcut, like Copy, Paste, or Control-C and Control-V on Windows, or Command-C and Command-V on a Mac. It can just get frustrating for me, especially when we've all pretty much been using computers for the better part of the last 20 years, and a lot of these things haven't changed much. And if you set up your own keyboard shortcuts in your most used programs, you'll fly through your video edits, or your audio mix, or even just your word processing, or Google Sheeting. And honestly, as great of an invention as the mouse is, the mouse slows me down a lot of the time because if I'm in more of a typing mode, like typing out an email, YouTube script, or anything that requires both hands on the keyboard, moving over to the mouse a lot just slows me down because I learned to type the proper way with my hands in the home position with my index fingers on F and J, respectively. So using keyboard shortcuts helps me switch programs or do simple things like underline, italics, bold texting, saving, save as, print, highlight, send message, increase or decrease text size, or the previously mentioned navigating between browser tabs. Live it, learn it, love it. Keyboard shortcuts. Lastly, some of my favorite keyboard shortcuts are things like Command Tab on a Mac or Alt Tab on Windows to switch or cycle through currently open programs, like this. You don't have to minimize anything, you just hold down Command and keep pressing Tab to get to the program you want. So holding Command and Tab on a Mac, you can see it brings up a list of all of the open programs, and you can just keep tabbing until you get to the one you want, then release, and that program comes to the front of your view on your computer. Command Shift Tab on Mac to cycle backwards through the open programs. Bet you didn't know that one. Hold down the Command, press Tab, and it will bring up the on-screen view of all the programs, but then while still holding Command, you can add the Shift key, then press Tab as many times as you need, and it will cycle backwards through the open programs. So if you go past the program you want, just add the Shift key, then keep pressing Tab to go backwards instead of cycling around through all the open programs again. So Command Tab to go forward through the programs, Command Shift Tab to go backwards through the open programs. Command tilde on a Mac to cycle between different windows of the same program. Yep, let's say you've got 10 Mac Finder windows open. If you just Command Tab over to Finder and make it the active program, you can then hold down Command and press the tilde key, that's the key just to the left of the number 1 key, the little squiggly line, and it will cycle through all the open windows of that currently active program. So it won't cycle through programs because that's Command Tab, but once we're in the program we want, Command tilde will cycle through the windows in that program, and Command Shift tilde will go backwards through the windows. So if we look here, I've got about 5 Mac Finder windows open, and instead of minimizing each one to see the one behind it, I can just hold down Command and press the tilde key repeatedly, and it will bring the next Finder window to the front so I can see it. Then I can release the keys when I've found the right one. This works for almost all programs as well. If I have 3 Google Chrome windows open with 5 tabs each, Command tilde will cycle through each of those Google Chrome windows, each with the proverbial 40 tabs on each window. On a Mac, Command, Option, Escape, and I usually do it here with my left thumb, hold down Command and Option, Escape. This is basically the Control-Alt-Delete version on Mac like it is in Windows. Command, Option, Escape will bring up the Force Quit Applications window so you can force quit a non-responsive application. So Command, Option, Escape brings up the window, choose it, hit Force Quit, and it closes the program. On Windows, one of my favorite keyboard shortcuts will let you quickly close any window, and you do that by quickly pressing Alt Spacebar in quick succession, which brings up the small right-click menu that you'd normally get when clicking in the upper left side of a Windows menu bar. And then, since the small menu comes up and is then active, you can just press the C key to close that window, because it's underlined as you can see here. That's how Windows denotes which key is set up as the shortcut key in its menu systems. It will be underlined. It's so quick to close things in Microsoft Windows. So again, instead of having to move the mouse up and find the little red X in the top right corner, you can just very quickly press Alt Spacebar, release, and then press the letter C, and that will close the window. Alt Spacebar, C. Alt Spacebar, C. Alt Spacebar, C. Alt Spacebar, C. Done. No mousing. Also on Windows, to quickly show the desktop, just quickly press the Windows button and then press the letter D. It hides every open program and shows the desktop immediately. Windows L on a PC to lock the desktop if you want to keep people from using your workstation if you get up and leave. So everything's open and working. Windows L locks the desktop, and then you have to put your password back in to log back in. So those are just a few and barely scratch the surface, but even with just those few, you can see how quickly you can move between not only open programs, but also open windows within a specific program. As far as how I set up custom keyboard shortcuts, well, again, I either learn the default keyboard shortcuts or customize my own, either with the software application itself if it offers a way to customize the keyboard, and most software applications will let you do this, especially professional level applications. But if a program doesn't offer direct keyboard customization, as long as it has a menu item associated with a command, then I can customize a keyboard shortcut using Mac OS's operating system. I don't know about doing this in Windows, but I'm a Mac guy, so we can do this by opening System Preferences, Keyboard, Shortcuts, and add a custom keyboard shortcut to a specific application that way. So for example, here in Google Chrome, luckily they have 2 menu items for Select Next tab and Select Previous tab. And since those items are listed in a drop-down menu, then I can assign a keyboard shortcut to that menu command here in System Preferences. And you can see here that I have my Command 1 set up as my Select Previous tab shortcut and Command 2 as my Select Next tab shortcut. So do yourself a favor and learn those keyboard shortcuts or make your own, but for all of our sanity's sake, please stop right-clicking to select copy and paste. And that has been your daily dose of super awesome, helpful tips from me, Marcus Hutzel. All right, that's it. I'll be watching. Later.